percent using the percent equation with me, Catherine. When we're going to use the percent equation, there's a couple key words we need to know. When we see the word of, it always means to multiply. When we see the word is, it means equal. And anytime we see the word what, that's our unknown. Always remember to change a percent to decimal when we do the percent equation. Let's look at our example. What is 55% of 340? What is our unknown? So how about we just call it a W? Is means equals. We're going to put an equal sign. 55%, remember, changes to 0.55. So we're going to have 0.55. Of means to multiply. And 340 is just itself. So to solve this one, we just multiply 0.55 times 340. And we end up with 22. And that's it. 22 is 55% of 340. Let's look at another one. $36 is 45% of what? 36 is just itself. Is means equal, so we'll put an equal sign. 45%, we have to change to a decimal, and that becomes 0.45. That goes in right here. Of means to multiply, so let's put our multiplication in there. And then what is our unknown? So we're going to put a W there for what? Let's put it together. We need to get W by itself. I always think, what's the opposite of multiplying? Well, it's dividing. So I'm going to divide by 0.45. But in math, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. We need to keep things balanced. So it turns out that 80 equals W. 36 is 45% of 80. Let's look at one more example. 150 is what percent of 500? 150 is just itself. Is means equal, so we'll put an equal sign. What percent is actually our unknown percent. I like to put a P there just to remind me that we're looking for a percent. Of means to multiply, and then 500 is just itself. Let's put it together. Once again, we want to get the P by itself. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. But if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side. So what do we get? P equals 0.3. But we have a little problem here. Anytime we use the percent equation, we need to change the decimal answer we get to percent. We're going to move 2 places to the right, so we get 30%. 150 is 30% of 500. Awesome! Here's 3 for you to try. You're going to pause the lesson, find the answers, then press play to check. Let's see how you did. 36 is 45% of what? Did you get 80? Cool. 45 is what percent of 300? Did you get 15%? Finally, 75% of what is 187 and 5/10? That's right, it's 250. If you got these right, you can just move along. Otherwise, for the rest of us, let's look at these. Let's look at the first one. What's that equation going to look like? Well, 36 is equals 45% we change to a decimal, of means to multiply, and what is our W? Did you remember to change the percent to a decimal? That's super important. Our next step is to divide by 0.45. Remember, we want to get W by itself, and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. But if we do it to one side, we have to do it to the other side. That's how we get 80 equals W. Let's look at the one to the right. Here is our equation. 45 means equals. What percent? I put a P there. Of means to multiply, and 300. We need to get P by itself. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 300. But remember, if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So we end up with 0.15 equals P. Did you remember to change the decimal to a percent? Yep, that's how we get 15% as our answer. Let's look at the last one. Remember, 75% has to be changed to a decimal. So we get 0.75. Of means to multiply. What is our W? Is equals 187 and 5/10 is just 187 and 5/10. We need to get W by itself. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. When I divide, I get W to equal 250. Cool! Here's 3 more for you to try. You're going to pause the lesson, find the answers, then press play to check. All right, let's see how you did. The first answer is $17.85 is W. The next one is 40%. And finally, W equals $39.80. If you got them right, cool. You can move along in the video. But for the rest of us, let's see what we have. When I look at the first one and I rewrite it, I remember that 85% needs to be changed to a decimal. Is equals, of is multiplication, and what is just W. Remember, the opposite of multiplication is division, and that's why I divided by 0.85. But if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. And that's how we get $17.85 equals W. Let's look at our next one. 100 is equals, what percent? I like to put a P. Of means times, and 250. Remember, the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 250 on both sides. We need to keep it balanced. It turns out that P is 0.4. Did you remember to change the decimal to a percent? That's pretty important. Let's look at the last one. We always change the percent to a decimal. So 25% is 0.25. Of is multiplication. What is W? Is equals, and then we have $9.95. We need to get W by itself. The opposite of multiplication is division. But if I do it to one side, yep, I have to do it to the other side. That's how we get W equals $39.80. Let's look at an application problem. You purchase a new sewing machine for $259. You hand over the 40% off coupon. Yeah. How much will be taken off the price? Now just so you know, this coupon is expired, so don't use it. It's just an example. Well, we know that 45% of $259 is our sale price. That's how much we're going to pay for it. Remember that we always change the percent to a decimal. So 40% is 0.40. Of means to multiply. 259 is just itself. Is means equals. And we're looking for the W. We want to know how much is going to be taken off. This one's kind of cool because all we have to do is multiply. 0.40 times 259 is $103.60. Whew, that's a lot of money. So what is the new price of the sewing machine? The original price is $259. We're going to subtract or minus the discount. So we're going to subtract $103.60. What does that leave us? $155.40. Awesome! I can afford that. Here's one for you to practice. You're going to pause the lesson, find the answers, then press play to check. You purchased a Northrop B-2A Spirit Stealth Bomber model kit for $39.99. You hand over the 40% off coupon. Awesome! How much will be taken off the price? Well, we want to figure out what 40% of $39.99 is. Remember, we always change the percent to a decimal. So we have 0.40 times $39.99 equals W. That's how much we're going to take off. When we multiply, we get $15.996. Wow. In this case, most stores will round up to $16. What is the new price of the Stealth Bomber model kit? That means we take the original price, $39.99, minus the 40% off, which is $16. What do we get? $23.99. Awesome! I love it! If you're interested in the B-2A Spirit Stealth Bomber, you can always go to the U.S. Air Force fact sheet. It's pretty interesting. Here's the self-quiz. You're going to pause the video and solve without peeking. Then when you're ready, you're going to press play to check. All right, let's see how you did. The answer for number 1 is 22.5%. The answer for number 2 is 390. And the answer for number 3 is 24. If you got those right, good job. You can just move along in the video. For the rest of us, let's see what I did. The equation for the first one is 18 equals P times 80. Remember, is equals what percent, I like to put a P, of means multiplication, and 80 is just itself. We want to get P by itself. The opposite of multiplication is division. But if I do it to one side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the other side. So it turns out that 0.225 is P. Did you remember to change the decimal to a percent? Pretty important. That's how our answer is 22.5%. Let's look at number 2. Here's my equation. Remember, is means equals, 20% is always changed to a decimal, of means multiplication, and what is W? Once again, we need to get W by itself. The opposite of multiplication is division, and when we divide, we get 390. Awesome! Let's look at number 3, the last one. Here's my equation. What is the W? Is equals 5% I changed to 0.05. We have to change it to a decimal. Of means multiplication, and then I just have 480. For this one, I just had to multiply 0.05 times 480. We get W equals 24. Awesome! I'd like to thank you for watching, and if you really liked it, pin me to Pinterest. I give you the step-by-step right there on the left. Did you know that I have video guides and worksheets available for all of my picrustable lecture series? Yeah! Just go to Teachers Pay Teachers. Make sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss the new videos. I love this stuff. I love making videos. I love math. Do you have a request? Let me know at picrustable@gmail.com or in this YouTube comment box below. Thanks again for hanging out with me in this video, and I can't wait until you can join me again.